Hey folks, it's Michael Krasilovsky, and we are joined today with Noelle Moen, Team K Realty's buyer specialist.
Hello!
And today we are filming the Outskirts of Albany expansion pack driving tour. So this is a follow-up to the main narrated driving tour of Albany neighborhoods that we did. See the link here, that was about an hour and a half long. And today we're going to time warp around a bit and check out some of the more rural, quiet neighborhoods outside of the city limits. So we are starting at Riverside Drive. We are taking a different approach into Albany than Highway 20. So can you tell us a little bit about where we are just in general and what we're going to see on Riverside and things like Oakville next to us?
Basically, as we're going through Riverside, we're mainly going through rural farmland. So it's mainly going to be fairly flat, maybe a little bit of elevation gain, but not much. And we're going to be seeing a lot of grass fields, a lot of farmsteads, and just a lot of properties with a bit of acreage.
Yes, and kudos, shout out to Chance Olafson from Cascara Films for doing all the drone work that you're seeing here. By the way, if we look pixelated to you, click the little gear icon, the YouTube settings as you play this, play it in 4K or whatever the highest resolution is possible so that it's not pixelated. Okay, that being out of the way. So let's see, we're going north on Riverside, Rife's Home Furniture is just behind us, and the Willamette River is to our left, correct?
That should be correct.
All right, so lots of small acreage out here. Sometimes we call these like hobby farms, but there's people that live out here that farm for real, have produce operations, produce distribution companies that work out here. There's some good stuff.
There is. Or there are some folks that live here just so that way they don't have to flip their neighbor's hamburgers.
Yes. Shout out to our friend Paul. He came up with that expression. So we quote him often. So what we're going to do in general here today is we're going to show you a little bit of Riverside Drive, then we're going to time warp through Albany, get into North Albany, but rural North Albany, a little bit outside. Then we'll go to Millersburg, and then we'll take Scrabble Hill back. All right, so let's see. Oakville Road. Oakville Road is next to us, or parallel to us to the right. It's to the east of us, right?
Yes.
So that's going to be another way in and out of Albany. That's going to have a very similar feel to this. We want you to be aware of that. Ooh, speaking of which, because the point of this video is to show you what it's like to live just outside of town and have easy access to things, there's new construction going on to the east of us, too. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah. That is Henshaw Farms, and that's over by 99 Oakville going up, and that's created by Lennar Homes, which is a bigger building company throughout the rest of the nation.
Yes, and at this particular moment in time, we're filming this in mid-May of 2023. We have actually yet to give keys to anyone to one of their homes, so we don't have a first-hand experience to share with you, but hopefully that'll change shortly. We've worked with a lot of new construction builders, but they're a newer one to this area, even though they're very established regionally and nationwide. All right, so let's see. Proximity-wise here, we're going to be getting into Southwest Albany. I think Riverside Drive will turn into Queen Avenue in just a few moments here, right?
That is correct.
All right, so what do we want to say about that?
So this is a really nice, lovely drive. As you can see, as we're going through.
Mid-Valley produce.
Very nice produce as we're going through. Lots of grass fields. So Oregon is the #1 producer of grass seed.
And specifically, Lynn County is the winner of that, right?
Yes.
This is what supplies gold.
The world.
The world, and like what's the famous billboard? It's like World Cup soccer stadium grass seed supplier, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So if you're wondering where all that grass that you see on stadiums or anything like that, most of it is sourced from here, and you can see it's beautiful, it's green, it's lush, it's very easy to grow grass here. Super lush, yeah.
And right now things are very green. You know, in May we're starting to have hot weather, but it still goes back and forth a little bit. So right around now we've got lots of flowers blooming, we've got leaves coming out on the trees all over the place. It's definitely not full-blown summer yet, but it's starting to feel like it's approaching.
It's faux summer.
Faux summer, yeah. Right around July 4th, I feel like, is when the grass fields are done being harvested, and it starts to officially and definitely be summertime. You know, at that point, we're definitely not going to get any more rain, right?
Yeah, we typically don't get any more rain right after July 10th, roughly.
Okay.
And then going from there, they usually start harvesting the grass and the grass seed as well. So you start seeing a lot more farm work happening, and typically a lot of birds are done nesting for that time of the season, which is why they also harvest during that time as well.
Nice. And for those of you who are like me and pollen isn't your best friend, you take some Zyrtec. If you're really, really having a rough time, get allergy shots, for example. Not giving you medical advice. And life will be okay. You might be a little bit stuffy, a little bit sneezy until about July 4th when they harvest those grass fields. But then after that, it'll be a piece of cake. I had a few bad allergy days last week. I'm taking a Zyrtec every day and pretty much good to go. Got a lot of really cool bee pollination action going over there. Is that clover? I can't quite tell.
That doesn't look to be clover. It might be a psyllium, but this is also a really great area to go and get some honey. You can get wild clover honey, wildflower honey, a whole bunch of different honey farms over here.
Nice. And as we're rounding this bend, I think we're starting to actually get pretty close to where Riverside's going to get into town. Maybe not. Maybe I'm thinking of Oakville Road, actually.
No, we're just going to keep going.
We're going to keep going.
But it's a really beautiful drive, very easy to do as well. You'll see a lot of people out here have sheep. If you've been watching the videos going through here, there's a lot of sheep. They have finished lambing, and now the lambs are starting to get bigger and bigger as we're going through. You might see a couple here off to our left over here.
My brother-in-law calls them meadow maggots, just to be funny. And we talked, of course, about grass seed production out here. Some other really prominent crops. Mint is huge out here. Grass is huge out here. There's a lot of... Do they grow clover just to till it back in as like a nitrogen fixer?
Exactly.
Like okay.
Other really big things, nurseries are also a really big thing. I think it's the third or fifth thing that we produce here is just... We have nurseries that make a whole bunch of plants.
Oh my gosh, yeah. And we are just in the process right now of making Corvallis, a film for you guys. And Noelle, as you've seen before in our previous videos, she knows a lot about plants and gardening. And my wife actually just the other day told me that what I was doing counted as gardening. So I'm an official gardener now too, because I was planting some stuff in the ground and making a mess and figuring out how to install drip line irrigation. But holy cow, it's just amazing going to places like Chenard's and Garland's Nursery, Peoria Road Farms, and a bunch of others that we're going to tell you about and show you in Corvallis. And so if you are into gardening, if you've got a green thumb, you are going to absolutely love it here.
All right. Oh, look at this. We're on Oakville going on to Queens.
There we go. We connected with Oakville. All right, so as we enter town here, now we're getting into the actual, urban growth boundary, the actual main part of town. So what we're going to do is we're going to time warp because you've already seen the narrated driving tour of Albany neighborhoods. You've already seen the inside of town. So we will just fast motion this. We're going to go all the way from Queen Avenue up through downtown, up across the bridge into downtown Albany, and then up into North Albany where we'll pick back up.
See you in a few.
All right, so we're on Queen Avenue Southwest, getting into Southwest Albany right here. We're passing by West Albany High School and Memorial Middle School right there. We're going to cross over Elm Street or Elm Avenue, and this is Highway 99, and we're going to go north on Highway 99. We're getting into this lane so that we can take a little jaunt right there, and now we're going to go through downtown Albany. So here's downtown Albany. And in a moment, what we're going to do is we're going to take the bridge out of downtown Albany. Here we go, over the Willamette River. So now we're in Benton County, which is North Albany. And we're going to turn here on North Albany Road and go by Hickory Station, which has got restaurants and medical care and some other fun stuff. We've got schools right here too, North Albany Middle School, and I believe it's North Albany Elementary School right there too. And we're going to take this roundabout and go west on Gibson Hill Road. So we are very much in the heart of North Albany right now. And in a second, we're going to turn north on Crocker. Okay, folks, we are back. We just turned north on Crocker. You saw us drive south on Crocker in the Albany driving tour. By the way, can we give it up for our team member Cody Thomas behind the scenes, who is tirelessly editing these videos among the 20 other hats that he wears? Give a like for Cody editing this. He's doing a great job.
Yes, he is.
We appreciate you, Cody. All right, so let's see. Where are we now? We are now in North Albany. Could you tell us a little bit about North Albany, Crocker Road, what to expect off here as we transition into more rural areas in just a moment?
Yes, absolutely. So North Albany is right in between Albany proper, city center, and Corvallis. So some people who live here often work in Corvallis or hop over the bridge over into Albany. So they kind of have dual citizenship.
Exactly.
It's definitely a bit more hilly up here, and there's a lot more treed properties. So if you want a little bit more area, so acreage, but with trees, this is a really great spot here in Albany.
And we started off the narrated driving tour of Albany, the main one, basically in North Albany. So you saw some of this, but we're about to exit North Albany. We're just punching north, going right through, and we're going to take this over towards Countryman Circle and Spring Hill Drive. So some of those Hayden Homes developments we've talked about are on the left. We just passed by Pheasant Run. We're passing by, I forget what this one is called. We'll look it up and put it on the screen. Once they take the sign down, I forget what it's called. And now we are at the top, basically at the top of Crocker anyway. And we're going to turn left, we're going to turn west on Valley View Drive.
Exactly. Also, another way to get over to North Albany Park is taking this road here.
Yes, we are right by North Albany Park. All right, and now we're looking for Countryman Circle because literally right around here, this is the boundary of the urban growth boundary for Albany as far as I recall on the map. When we zoom in just right, you can see that little dotted red line, and that's the urban growth boundary on like a Google map. So North Albany Park is on the left. Beautiful park. We showed you some drone footage of that in the normal Albany driving tour. We might recycle a little bit of it now. And here we go.
And here we go, turning onto Countryman Circle. All
right, so Countryman Circle, this is a fun example neighborhood of kind of rural living, small acreage, that's still really close to everything else in Albany. So we're going to turn right, we'll go around the circle, and then we'll get to the 10 or 11 o'clock position of it, and we will exit. We won't actually do the whole circle. But we've got small acreage plots out here. I'm thinking they're often about 2 acres, maybe a couple acres.
Yeah, right about there.
With some lovely homes. Some of these that we've seen over the years have been a little bit dated. They go back to 70s, maybe 80s. It's one of the established neighborhoods in North Albany. But then there's also an occasional, major remodel or even new construction build that we pass by. And the drone footage here is going to really show it off.
Definitely. There's also quite a few of these properties that have really nice shops too.
Oh, thank you. Yes.
Mm-hmm. So if you really want a extra workspace to do any of your whatever projects you're looking for, this would be a really great area to look at as well.
Yeah. And folks, as you're watching videos like this that we make, we're not trying to get you married to living on Countryman Circle, for example. I mean, there's only 20 homes or whatever it is here. It's not like every single person who wants rural Albany living is going to buy a house right here. We're showing you examples. We know this is just scratching the surface. There's a lot of other areas around here. We just wanted to show you some, for the sake of example, as I think I just said.
All right, and this part of Countryman Circle is just a little bit more grassy. It's been cleared out a little bit more, so you get a little bit more sunshine, but a lot of Countryman is very treed, would be a great term of it.
Yeah. And proximity to Albany, we're probably 10 minutes max from Albany downtown at this point.
Exactly. So you're still super close to be able to get anything you need, but giving yourself more of that rural farm feeling.
Yes. All right, where's Wishram? It's not it. Little edit there, missed the sign because the sign for Wishram had a post without a sign on it for some reason just now. All right, so we're exiting Countryman Circle, Wishram, as Noel just said, and we're going to take this over to Spring Hill, right?
Yes, that's correct.
All right.
So this is definitely more of a gravelly road at this point in the junction. I think it turns back onto pavement right here.
Nailed it. All right, very good. So there's some lovely homes that are up in this neck of the woods on Spring Hill, on Scenic. We've got some clients that we actually sold their home for them a couple years ago. We might put a drone shot of that or some pictures right now towards the top of Scenic, I think it was.
Yeah.
And that was a 3-story home on 2 or 3 acres. It was right by the elementary school that was up there. So now we are leaving Countryman, leaving Wishram. We're hitting Scenic Drive in North Albany. That should ring a bell because that was basically where we started the Albany driving tour, on Scenic Drive in North Albany. But now we're going to go south on Scenic and make our way over to Spring Hill Cellars and beyond.
Beyond.
In the expansion pack to the Corvallis driving tour, I think I said we're going to go to this place and beyond. I said that like 20 times. Pretty sure people made a drinking game out of that. Oh well. But folks, if you're watching our YouTube videos and you're making a drinking game out of it, at least do it with some amazing local Pinot Noirs from a place like a local vineyard, right? I mean, be classy about it, right?
Or at least, go with one of our local breweries as well.
Yes. Hashtag Beervallis, if you haven't seen that video. Ooh, yeah, speaking of which, so Beervallis we published a long time ago. Mm-hmm. We just filmed Winevallis down at Brigadoon, so Winevallis is being edited right now too.
And maybe in the future we'll do Cider Vallis.
We'll see if we can make a whole video on that, yeah. Do love Two Towns Cider House. A friend of mine is one of the 3 founders there. But back to North Albany. All right, so if you're in this neck of the woods, one of the things that you'll love is being able to go for walks and runs and have close proximity to North Albany Park. So there it is again. That's Valley View Drive we're passing by now on the other end of it. And this is Spring Hill Cellars right here.
Fantastic little place to go and get some wonderful Pinot Noir,
so
hang
good.
out, and they also have a little bit of music and fun there as well on occasional weekends.
Yeah, and they are open starting in May. They just opened back up, if I recall.
And they continue throughout until October.
Oh, they have a big Oktoberfest thing,
yeah,
don't they?
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, I've never made it to that, but I have clients and friends who have, and they said it was really fun. So think about that, folks. You could be living in, like, let's say, rural North Albany, or even just North Albany right here. I mean, this is the main part of North Albany we're getting right back to. And you could go for a walk or a jog to an amazing local vineyard. So in the Albany driving tour, we came north on Scenic, the opposite way, and we turned in right there where that truck is parked. That was the first neighborhood we showed you. It was right over here, the Hayden Homes and D.R. Horton Homes from the mid or late 90s. So we're right back at North Albany now. All right, so that being said, we are going to time warp in a moment here. We're going to go back through North Albany, back over the river into downtown Albany, and then we're going to hop onto Old Salem Road, also known as 3rd Street, if I recall.
Yep.
And we're going to take that all the way up into northeast Albany and over to Millersburg. So we're going to time warp there, and we'll do some voiceover to explain as we go.
See you in a sec.
There's some other great example neighborhoods up in this neck of the woods, near Countryman Circle, near Spring Hill, like Metge Avenue and Dumbeck Avenue. Pardon me if I'm getting the roads wrong, if it's avenue versus lane, that sort of thing. But just lots of other great places where you can get rural, small acreage, gorgeous homes, or even just large lots with beautiful homes that are in more quiet, serene settings that still have easy access to North Albany. And now we are already back on North Albany Road, so we had just come this way a few minutes earlier. We're heading south now. There goes Hickory Station on the left with shopping and restaurants. And here is Highway 20 going back towards downtown Albany. We're going to cross over the Willamette River here. So now we're leaving North Albany and back in downtown Albany. Here we go. We're only in downtown Albany for a moment before we kick east on 3rd Street. And 3rd Street on the map at some point changes from 3rd Street to Salem Avenue Southeast. Not exactly sure where that happens, but this is just taking us kind of like a shortcut over towards the Costco area. So we go through that little roundabout, and then we're going to pop out here in northeast Albany. We're about to pass by Waverly Lake, which, if you remember from the Albany driving tour, had a really big like wooden duck statue in it. And Waverly Lake is basically on the other side of Costco and Winco.
All right, and now we are getting over into Old Salem Road, which is going to connect us over to Millersburg. Now, what's really great about Millersburg is it's super close to Costco. It's super close to a lot of big box stores, as well as like Kohl's over here. And it's super easy access to Albany. It's also super easy access to I-5 as well.
Yeah, that was basically Costco we passed by just now. And there's a Welcome to Millersburg sign.
There it is. So Millersburg is hovering right around 3,000 people right now. So it's a really small, unincorporated town of Albany. It's just right outside of Albany. A lot of our properties in Millersburg, though, get addressed as Albany in our local MLS.
Yeah, when we set up searches for people that want to include Millersburg, we can call it out as a specific city, but they all get kind of combined into Albany results anyway, to give you a feel for it all. Kind of overlapping, right?
Yeah, they're kind of overlapping in that jurisdiction.
Yeah.
As we're going through here, it's good to know that Millersburg did have a little bit of reputation of smelling bad at one point in time because of the old paper mill that used to be here. But the paper mill has been taken out as of 2010, if I remember correctly.
Okay.
So we no longer have that paper mill smell from the pulp products.
Right, because it's all about the pulp production.
Yes.
And there's something going on with a European company that's going to be taking it back over, but it's not going to be problematic, right?
No, because they're not going to be processing pulp. They are just making the paper products here.
Okay.
They're primarily like tissue paper and tissues for your nose. So that's primarily what they're doing. That hasn't been solidified yet, but there are plans for this European company at the moment to move in and add more jobs to the community as well.
Cool. So this is kind of like a far northeast part of Albany, and as you can see, we're driving parallel to I-5 right now, so it's useful for commuters too, because it's really easy to go in and out of Albany. This is another way in and out of Albany, but it's also easy to commute on I-5 if you need to go up to Salem or Portland or go south for, let's see, what would be south? Corvallis, Eugene,
right? Any place like that.
Yeah.
As we're continuing through here, a lot of what really appeals to people moving out to Millersburg is that there's a lot of newer construction on bigger lots that also have 3-car garages, RV parking spots. There's also some small acreage hobby farms that you could also purchase here as well.
Yeah, so you got like 2 very different housing products. It's almost reminiscent of what we talked about with Adair, but it's not really the same.
Yeah.
And we've got a bunch of clients living in the newer construction. They love it for exactly what Noelle just said. They love having space for their RVs. They love having big yards, big garages. Oh my gosh, we just helped some folks get a house in Millersburg that had an oversized 3-car garage, and they're basically setting up a wood shop inside the garage, right?
Yeah.
And it's just massive.
It's massive, but they also have like a very nice little yard to take care of. And it's a newer construction house, so you don't typically see that. So that's a really appealing product for some people. Thank
you. I'm really glad you said it that way, because most of the time when we help people buy new construction, it's good-sized homes on really small lots, all chunk right next to each other. This is a very stark contrast in that regard.
Yes.
Yeah. So we're going to go up Millersburg Road here, and we're going to turn left on... I forget the name of the street, but we're going to go over to Noel Lane, which is spelled differently than our Noel. But we'll drive you by some Chad E. Davis Construction, who we've talked about many times on this channel. That's a regional builder here in Oregon, or I should say local builder here in Oregon.
Yeah.
They do a really good job, and we work with them a lot, and we've helped a bunch of people buy and sell Chad E. Davis homes in Millersburg. So we'll drive by some of those, for example. But yeah, as we approach, as we do that, you're probably seeing a drone shot right now. I mean, you can see there's just quiet rural space right here. There's some older homes on large lots, and then we're going to get into the newer stuff. So it's a really neat housing option to still be close to the rest of Albany.
Absolutely.
Another thing that they do here, were you just about to say that too?
Oh, no, you go.
They build manufactured homes. I think this is, I was going to say Harbor Freight, but that's a tool shop. What is this? Palm Harbor.
Palm Harbor.
Palm Harbor?
Yes.
Palm Harbor, yeah. Do you feel like talking about that for a moment, too?
Actually, I thought you would go on to that.
Okay, so Palm Harbor is a local manufactured home manufacturer, and their factory itself is actually right here. You can do factory tours, you can go check out their floor plans by literally walking through them, which is pretty neat because that's a very, very common housing product in manufactured home parks around here. There's a couple of manufactured home builders in this area. There's also a lot of RV builders south of here, off of 99 West, in between here and Eugene. So, we're very industrious in that regard, and also very outdoorsy, I guess.
Very much so. I was actually going to talk about where the name Millersburg actually came from.
That sounds like a way more fun thing to talk about while we drive through Millersburg. Yeah.
Well, we were just talking about the paper mill, and I think a lot of people assume it's because of the paper mill. Fun fact, it's not. There was actually a local farming family named Miller.
Okay.
And when the South Pacific train line was coming through, they actually named the stop Millersburg after that family. And it's stuck forever since.
So I've lived here for 15 years. I didn't know that, actually. Yeah. I assumed that this was Millersburg because there was a paper mill here. I always thought that.
So, fun fact for everybody watching that.
All right. And we are, as you just saw, we're taking Old Salem Road and Millersburg Drive into all this, but you could go in and out of Millersburg just on I-5. Millersburg does have an exit. I think it's exit number 235 or 238, something like that.
Something like that.
We'll put it on the screen. And so it is just that easy to get in and out of here and have basically direct access to I-5.
As we're going through here, I would just like to mention that Millersburg has had quite a bit of growth since 2010, in particular because of the new jobs being promoted in the area. It was back in 2010 around like 1,000 people, and now it's gone up to about almost 3,000.
That's a big difference, yeah.
Yeah. But it's still a very small town. It's super cute, and a lot of the new homes here are just darling. They've done a really great job with them.
Did I just drive by? No. All right, so now we're on Noel Lane, but spelled differently. Just a great example of Chatty Davis construction. We'll take you on, I made an impromptu decision just now to go into this cul-de-sac. I know it's a cul-de-sac. I'm not actually getting lost as we turn around here. But we've got a bunch of clients all right around here. So again, you can see, some of these have big garages, 3-car garages. Some of them have big yards. There's often shops or at least really large sheds in the back. This particular neighborhood backs up to this farm field that also has a small, if I recall, a small wetland designation going through it too. Mm-hmm. So you know that even if the farm field gets developed, there'll be some space between you and the next houses, which is nifty.
Yeah, that green space will be really amazing just in case that ever becomes a whole development.
Yeah.
But still giving you that space and that nice greenery to keep adding to the land.
Yes. And so these homes, a lot of what we're driving by right now, I feel like this is probably 5 years old, maybe 5-6 years old. You can see that landscaping is getting established. Trees are filling in nicely.
It's looking good.
It's looking really good. It's not literally brand new construction where you got to be patient and wait for those trees to fill in. So really good housing options here. All right. And what we're going to do right now is we're going to turn around and start another time warp because you don't need to see us drive the same things over and over. So we're going to time warp from here. We're going to go towards I-5. We'll pass by Love's truck stop, travel station, convenience store, and we're going to get over to, is it Highway 64 into Jefferson for just a moment?
Yep, just a second.
All right. And then from there, what we're going to do is we'll take you on our tour of our last spot, which is going to be Scrabble Hill Road. And I didn't recognize that house because they changed the paint color, actually.
Oh.
So if you're seeing it on the GoPro, it's white now, but on the drone shots, it will have been blue. Oh my gosh. No, wait. It would be white on the drone shots too. Yeah. These are new drone shots. All right, so we'll take we're going to get to Scrabble Hill Road, and we will take that south, and then we'll end the video at Timberlin Memorial Park, if I recall, back in Albany proper.
See you in a few.
All right, so we're leaving the residential part of Millersburg that we were just driving around for a moment there, and we are back on Morningstar and Millersburg Drive Northeast, and then we are passing by Love's Travel Stop, and now we're on Old Salem Road again, and we're going to turn south on Scrabble Hill in just a moment. Look how quiet it gets within a minute. Here's Scrabble Hill Road on the right. All right, folks, we are back. So we just turned south on Scrabble Hill Road, and we are actually right near Jefferson. We've got a photographer shooting an upcoming listing for us right down the street over in Jefferson. Would you mind telling us a little bit about Jefferson so that people know the area we work in around here too?
Yeah, absolutely. Jefferson is more of a little rural town. You can get a few new products in the middle of town, but there's also a lot of acreage right around there. It's also super easy access to I-5, as well as being able to go along with going over to Independence Highway and following properties right around there.
Yeah. Yep, that's a pretty good primer on Jefferson right there.
Yeah.
Yep. And so we're excited about that. We're about to sell a manufactured home on land. It's a corner lot, not a quarter lot, in Jefferson, in the, I think, mid to upper 300Ks at the moment.
As we're going along here, Scrabble Hill has a lot of bigger acreage properties in particular that are very well-established homes, very mature trees as well, and it's just really pretty, very slight hills, very easy to work with though.
Yeah, this is a really great example of outskirts of Albany. I mean, we're only a few minutes from Millersburg. You're only a few minutes from the main part of Northeast Albany too, right? Which is where we're going to pop into Knox Butte area. But you can definitely get away from it all and still have easy access to main parts of town and the amenities that provides.
Maybe we should talk about some of the amenities right here. How about we talk about well and sewer? Septic, excuse me. That's actually a really good idea. While you're looking at beautiful driving and drone footage, we do a lot of work with rural properties, not just in city. So know that, right? We help people buy and sell all over the Mid-Valley, not just right in Corvallis and Albany, for example. And when we get out of city limits, well and septic are often questions that people have. Can you talk to us a little bit about what the due diligence looks like for those things that we help people do? So in the city, we usually do a whole house inspection where we already know that the water is being tested by the city because the city water is being provided, and along with sewer. However, once we start getting out into more rural property, you will start having wells and septic systems. And each of those have separate inspections that need to be done. So typically, we call out our well inspectors as well as our septic inspectors very quickly in addition to the whole house inspection. So they're add-ons that we do, right? Because often we have people who are moving to this area from other states, sometimes even big cities, and they're tired of big city life. And we get folks that are like, hey, I want a completely new chapter, but I've never lived on a septic system before. How do we handle this? And the answer is we do. We test all these things, make sure that the well's got enough flow, we make sure it's got potable water, make sure the septic is working properly. All these things get checked out. Make sure that the drain field is also in good functioning order as well. It's very important to have these inspections just to make sure that everything's going well, because you have to repair it if anything is wrong with it, not the city. Right. So we always want to make sure that you're an informed consumer in the purchasing process. Saw some cyclists back here as we go south on Scrabble Hill Road.
Oh my gosh, the Mid-Valley is amazing for road cycling. I feel weird as I say that. A lot of our viewers have been watching our channel for ages. They know that I used to be an ultra-marathon road cyclist, but that's past tense. I'm not actually doing that anymore. I really do miss it, but I've got a traumatic thing from when I lived in Florida. But, I mean, look around you, right? This is just an awesome area. If you want flats, you got it. If you want hills, you got it. I mean, being a cyclist is amazing in the Mid-Valley.
It really is, especially on a day like this. It's gorgeous.
Yes. All right, so let's see. Folks, we're going to probably time warp a bit south on Scrabble Hill Road, and we're going to get to Knox Butte Road, which is going to connect us back over towards where the Lynn County Expo Center and Costco would be, and we're going to wrap up back in Albany proper. So we'll time warp for a moment, and then we'll see you back there. All right, heading south in fast motion now on Scrabble Hill Road, and in just a moment, we are going to turn west on Knox Butte Road. Here we go. So we're basically getting back into Albany right around here. In a second, we're going to go through the roundabout and be by the Timber Ridge Place apartment homes. Here we go. And then we're going to approach our final destination where we'll wrap up. All right, so as you can see, we are now back in Albany. This is Northeast Albany. We just drove by Timber Ridge Apartments, Timber Ridge Elementary School's there. Clover, is it Clover Ridge?
Clover Ridge, yes.
And so these are neighborhoods that we drove you through in the narrated driving tour of Albany, the main one, that this is the expansion to. And this is the Lynn County Expo Center right over here. So we're just back in town with everything. Do you want to take us home as we actually wrap up and talk about the park that we're going to end in up here?
Yeah, absolutely. So as we're passing by the Expo Center, we're hitting Timberlin Memorial Park. This is a really fabulous park right on this section of Albany, and it actually has a really great dog park, which I believe we mentioned back in Corvallis.
Nice.
But another reason why we're ending it here is because River Rhythms is being done here at this park this year, instead of Monteith River Park, because the Monteith River Park is getting a revitalization, and so a new stage is being put in, so they're actually moving River Rhythms here for this summer. There's a lot of really fun bands that like to come through here. It's a really awesome event that the city of Albany hosts, and you definitely need to go and check it out. It's a blast. I went last year with a couple of my friends, and we had a great time.
Love it. The last time I was in Timberlin Memorial Park up here, I actually never seem to make it to these fun music events, but I was here to see them launch a Remax balloon.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it wasn't actually during the Albany Art and Air Fest, but come to think of it, can you tell us a little bit about that? Because we are right next to the Albany Airport, too.
That's right. The Albany Art and Air Fest is actually held out here. It's a super fun event where a whole bunch of hot air balloons, a lot of art is portrayed as well, and it's a super fun event. I haven't gone yet, but I'm super excited to go this year.
All right, we're finishing up right here, so we'll finish up showing you some wonderful drone footage again from Cascara Films. Folks, this has been Michael Krasilovsky and Noel Moen, and at this moment we represent half of Team K Realty, and we are based out of the Remax in Corvallis, Oregon, but we help people buy and sell homes and investment properties and rural properties and new construction all over the Mid-Valley. So if you need our help, we are never too busy for you. We really appreciate you checking out these videos. Be sure to like and subscribe, do all that normal YouTube stuff so that you don't miss our upcoming notifications for videos. We're working on a lot of stuff for you. And of course, what we actually do is help people buy and sell homes. But if you're needing us to be a resource for you as you consider making this move, give us a call ahead of time. We're not too busy for you. We can always hop on a casual Zoom call and help you pre-plan your visit, for example. So, bye for now. Boom! Thanks for watching.